And with the sport of boxing, and I want to say this right now about the sport of boxing. I don't want everybody at home to hear me when I say this. A belt, I'm tired, and I'm at home, and this goes for any company. I don't care if it's Top Rank, if it's Golden Boy, if it's Mayweather Promotions, if it's PBC. There's too many champions in the sport of boxing right now. Too many champions. It's not a such thing as a super champion, not at all. And I'm not taking nothing away from no fighter. It's too many belts. And the reason why is too. Let me tell people what's going on in the sport of boxing, why there are so many different titles and so many different belts. People don't know you have to pay for every belt that you win, there's a sanctioning fee. So now if a fighter wins an interim belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. If a fighter has just the regular belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. Then if a fighter is a super champion, then he has to pay a sanctioning fee. This is not good for the sport of boxing. When the sport of now, when a fighter fights, every fighter is a champion. Now, after you see no belts is like a fighter winning an amateur trophy. Everybody is the champion. Everybody have a belt. Now we look at the lightweight division, okay? And I want to say the fight the other day was a hell of a fight. Congratulations to the winner. He done his job. He went out there and did what he had to do. But if Devin Haney is the WBC champion at lightweight, right? And Gervontaa Davis is the WBA champion. Now it's safe to say that Teofimo is the champion he's the champion, the IBF and the WBO champion. But I can't knock what he has done, because I have to take my hat off to him, for what he has done. And then we talk about different fighters proving themselves. There's no different from Marquez. They're gonna say, oh, Mayweather was the bigger guy. Remember, at one particular time in 1996, before I went to when I was in the Olympics, I fought at 125 and a half. It's 125 and a half because it's 57 kilograms. So in that same year, I turned professional at 130. So we can't keep talking about guys. This guy is a small guy. To be the best, you must take risks. You must take chances. And if it takes going up in weight or going down in weight, that's the sport of boxing. That's how boxing works. And we look at Manny Pacquiao. He done the same thing. He takes chances. But then when he loses to me, guess what they say? Mayweather was he was the bigger fighter. It's always a catch-22 when it comes to me. So once again, I don't want to knock no fighter, but I'm tired of seeing fighters after the fight. Everybody got a championship belt now. Now boxing, all these belts is like trophies. The WBC, the WBA, the IBF and the WBO. Y'all gotta clean this shit up. Y'all have to clean this up. This is bad for boxing. Ain't there such thing as no super champion. You guys are just taking extra money from all these fighters, getting extra money from sanctioning fees. And this goes for my company as well. We got to clean the sport of boxing up. This don't look good. When you look on TV now, everybody's a champion. You see all these fighters posing with a belt. And then we got another guy at lightweight, which is Ryan Garcia. And then I look at Ryan Garcia, and he's a pretty cool fighter, and I don't take a nut away from him. He's with Golden Boy, and I wish him nothing but the best in his career. But before you can, and I seen Ryan, for an example, Ryan Garcia is one of the fighters that got in the ring holding a WBC belt and holding another belt. This is not cool for the sport. And do I think he can become world champion? Absolutely, he can become champion. Do I think he can beat Gervontaa Davis? Right now, as of right now, absolutely not. Now, that would be a fight next, but Tank cannot overlook Leo Santa Cruz. Hell of a fighter, tough competitor, and like I said before, if he went to 4 weight classes, it's obvious he can fight his ass off. So any fighter that's no different from Canelo. Canelo was able to jump weight classes. You know why? You look, you say, well, Canelo, when he faced me, they said, well, you beat Canelo at a catch weight. Remember this. You go back and you read the articles. Before you can speak on anything, you must do your homework. Okay. Canelo was the one that said he wanted to fight me at a catch weight class. So me being a smart businessman, guess what? I'm gonna test you and see if you really want to do it. Now, is he one of the best fighters out there, pound for pound? Absolutely, he's one of the best out there. But we cannot overlook Gervontaa Tank Davis. He's also one of the best out there, pound for pound. And you look at him, I believe it's like over a 90% knockout ratio.
95.
95% knockout ratio. So whoever you got to realize this. One thing we know about Gervontaa Tank Davis, you know, he got an equalizer in any hand. So he can hit you with any hand, and it could be good night, Irene.
Now, Gervontaa Davis inside the ring, we realize that. Now, Gervontaa Davis, real quick, so we can go back to the workout. The maturation of Gervontaa. Can you explain briefly for 30 seconds on what you have been able to do for him as far as the maturation is concerned?
Well, one thing I'm going to keep stressing to these fighters, just period. Everybody want to know, how am I able to still live the life, you know, that I live? We can't just think about, and Teofimo the other day after the fight, he was like, he said something real. What I didn't do was, when I made my money, I didn't just go buy a car or buy a chain. It took me a while to learn the game. I didn't have a Floyd Mayweather. I wish I had a Floyd Mayweather. And it's another, you know, if I'd had a Floyd Mayweather, I would probably be in a lot better position than I'm in now, because I would know how to move a lot better when I was younger and knew smarter things to do. But Al Heyman, a great businessman. Leonard Ellaby, I must take my hat off to him and the whole Mayweather promotion staff, because, you know, while I'm out traveling the world having fun, they take care of the company, and they're doing a great job doing that. So I must commend Mayweather Promotions for doing that. And one thing about us, what we do is we put fighters in a position to win titles, and we put fighters in position to make millions, you know. And when you look, even like our fighters that fight on PBC, if you look, when our fighters fight on PBC, we talk about the Nielsen ratings. When our guys fight on Fox, we don't go out there and talk about how many homes sometimes it's 4 million, sometimes it's 5 million. So we don't knock nobody for what they do. We just got to speak facts. And then there's another fighter out there that we don't talk about that deserves his just due. Andre Ward. We don't never talk about him, even though he retired undefeated. He beat a lot of good fighters, and we need to talk about him and give him his just due also. But the other night, when I seen that fight, just when I go back and look at that fight, I feel that it would have been a lot more exciting if Lomo got started earlier. But at the end of the day, my thing is this. I think he could have been worried about the power. Now, you can't be worried about what nobody say on the outside. You know, you got to train. That's why Tank, we got him in the gym right now. We got Tank in the gym right now. So he trained because he expected many different looks. So many different looks. You don't know what Leo you may get. You may get a Leo that's on his toes boxing. Right. So that's why Tank has so many different looks in his training camp. But I take my hat off to all these fighters. You know, I had my day in the sport, and even like a lot of times when they was talking about comparing Lomo to me, when you got I didn't have to have 500. I didn't have to have 500 amateur fights, and he done something that I wasn't able to do. Right. He was able to win 2 gold medals, which is a huge accomplishment. Right. Just to go to the Olympics is something huge in itself. And they said, well, guess what? He was the quickest to win a world title than any other fighter. Man, once you fight 300 amateur fights, you're a professional anyway. You're professional anyway. And you cannot compare a fighter like Lomo to me, or a fighter like Ali, or a fighter like Sugar Ray Leonard. You know the reason why? Because we won our first fight. We won our second fight. Right. We won our third fight. So I'm not going to take nothing from Teofimo for what he did the other day. But remember, this guy already had a loss to Salida, and Salida wasn't, quote unquote, the best guy in the world. Correct. He was solid, and he won a title before, but he wasn't the best guy in the world.
Well, we appreciate the insight, Floyd. Thank you for joining us again, Floyd Money Mayweather. We're going to go ahead and get back to the workout. Gervontaa is there. Again, Halloween night, you'll see this guy there. I'll be there too, and you better be too. Showtime pay-per-view.